please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Well, isn't this just fantastic? Captain's log, subdates 230301.5. Our plans might have been ruined, as they'd managed to get a signal out to nearby allies. Now, as Subfleet have no idea about what we are currently doing, we need to work fast to secure the vessel and then nuke the forks in a microwave. Is this the part where I start the video with Aquaba y'all? I have a sneaky feeling this meme is going to do its rounds throughout the entire video. Oh, and this was seen via libs of TikTok because they see all the best stuff, who tweeted, "White people denying that they are racist is literal violence because all white people are racist." With Miss Raven retweeting, "Dear brainwashed lunatic, please keep your ignorant, racist thoughts to yourself. Quit the projection of your self-hatred for the color of your skin. Seek help. People like you are what creates a further divide in our society. Sincerely, a person of color." I have no doubt in my mind this is going to be fantastic.
Hey, white ladies.
What's up?
Denying racism in your own self is violence.
And as is well established, the only way to defeat it is for all the white people to line up, get blacked, end the white race entirely. That's how this works, right? This is how we're supposed to do them things, yes? How much do you hate yourself? How much have you been brainwashed? How desperate are you for the clout or this, that you would say that? I have other questions. They all center around, have you considered pretending to be something you're not? It's worked out so well for many over the years. That way you can remove yourself entirely from the problem of the dreaded Caucasian scourge.
You hurt the entire cause by denying that you ever had a racist thought.
I don't think there is a single person on this planet who can truthfully say that they have never had a thought that could be constituted as racist in some part of the world. And I mean not a single human that can have a string of coherent thought. I'm going to, for the sake of it, forego including children, because for the most part, children do not understand the wider societal issues. I do not believe you could find one person who hasn't. You are singling out the white ones, because the white ones, apparently, the women especially, need to line up, stand up, be held accountable, and continually be made to feel guilty for something that isn't as much their fault anymore as you might think it is.
I don't think that way.
Important point here. Just because you don't think that way does not mean you aren't born it. I had this interesting discussion over the weekend with somebody about how bullying and entitlement and superiority starts at a very young age. It is when we are taught we are better than someone, better than something. Something as simple as a pet. If you abuse an animal, chances are you're going to grow up and do the same to a person. Why? Because you believe you're better than them. You learn this at a young age and it bleeds through to adulthood. You are not born a problem or unclean or dirty. It is how you are educated. And humanity needs to get out of this mentality of just because you're born equal doesn't mean that even though we treated everyone the same, you are somehow benefiting from something because of your ancestors. Therefore, you are a problem. The problem of the past is also your problem. You should be ashamed.
I wasn't raised that way. That's not how I feel.
You see how these patronizing displays come across as, you may not be this way, but you're still it anyway. It's not good enough to not be it, because you're it anyway. There's no version of it because you lost all the other arguments where you now can't be not racist. That's the point. You will always be that way for as long as you exist. Even if every white person on this planet stood up and admitted and then worked to change the system in the predominantly white countries so that they truly were reflective of the society, you'd find zero actual discernible change. Don't try and tell me you'd actually impact any real change, because let's face it here, your interpretation of what change is solely exists on less meritocracy and more affirmative action.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. You don't have to wear a hood and you don't have to tote around a fucking Confederate flag to know that there is shit inside of your brain that you need to fix.
Oh, a lobotomy. Or are we referring to a migraine? Do you really believe neural pathways need to be changed? I will state what I've already said. If you raise a classroom of children of all different races the exact same way, they're all afforded the same opportunities, they all grow up in the exact same households, is there really any difference? I've always believed the only way that you can truly move beyond racism to a point of equality is to treat the next generation better than we were treated. Keep improving and stop seeking to guilt and blame. Guilt and blame do not accomplish anything. Compassion, empathy, kindness, and patience. Teaching, understanding these buzzwords. Actually use them, implement them, and you will actually accomplish something.
Or else you're still just perpetuating the problems of society.
I think everyone needs to remove themselves from it entirely, society that is. Build themselves a quaint little home in the woods, nowhere near anyone, because there's plenty of that to go around for the however many billions of you on this planet, you cockroaches, and just exist. Don't worry about education, healthcare, food, none of that. Don't need any of these things. Just somewhere else, away from everything, where you, the white person especially, can no longer poison everyone else or benefit from other people's hard work.
I get called a white savior because I can admit the shit that I do.
A white savior complex, also known as white saviorism, is an ideology that is acted upon when a white person from a position of superiority, like who we're covering today, attempts to help or rescue a person of color or community. Whether it is done consciously or unconsciously, people with this complex have the underlying belief that they know best or that they have skills that people of color don't have. This idea, this complex, is not new. It has been used in almost every walk of life throughout all of history, not just those that believe they can save other people because of the color of their skin.
Meanwhile, there's women running around thinking that they've never, ever done anything in their life that could possibly even teeter on the edge of racism.
Good for them. Not everyone has to stand up and fight against something. If they've not done anything inherently wrong, they are doing their part to help the future and the present not be what you deem them to be racist by treating everyone fairly, equally, and ignoring the racial element. That's not to say that you should do that in the first place and ignore race entirely. When it comes to equality, these discussions need to happen. But that also means that white people need to be at that conversation, and not just on the receiving end of abuse and criticism. Their voices are just as important after all.
Good luck with that delusion.
Can I hold a mirror up and just say, your white saviorism? Ta-da!
I hope someday you realize that that's not the case.
And here comes the next bit, my favorite bit, because you're now going to try and fob it off as something else, another term, which is your way and is many people's ways over the years. Everyone's so desperate to pigeonhole and try and get an emotive response from the very people who themselves say they are not racist, because you want them to just say they are. You realize though that's a really bad thing for anyone to say. If said publicly, it would invariably end with them losing their livelihoods, being ostracized by friends and family. Not that you care. I assume you collect welfare.
And you can put aside your white fragility and your angelic behavior and realize that you still have work to do. And until the day you die, you're going to have work to do.
A novel concept work is, isn't it? Something I'm certain you've never heard of or partaken in. Additionally, have you ever heard of retirement? Some points in life, people like to just stop and enjoy their twilight years, their golden years. I know I'm taking the piss out of you, but quite frankly, you deserve it. If anyone in my comments, hello, takes issue with the fact that I'm taking the piss out of one individual for a really bad take, it sounds to me like your fragility is showing. It doesn't have to be racially motivated. Fragility is fragility. The white fragility buzzwords, thing, phrase, yeah, is just another thought-terminating cliche, solely designed to try and make you feel like you are something you're not, by the white savior, no less. Coming soon to Marvel movies.
And unpacking your own bullshit. Not just stitching other people, not just duetting with other creators and calling them out. It's in here too.
Tell me, would it ever stop being in there? How do you fix that? You can't tell me it is just a lifetime process akin to brushing your teeth. There has to be a solution where what it is in your brain is no longer in your brain, like some kind of parasite, akin to that of Plague Inc. As someone that likes to solve problems, I am keen to know if there is a solution to it. If there is and you see this, please tell me so I can make sure other dreaded white people learn this lesson fast.
So put away your halo, start playing catch with your demons. It's the only way we're going to dispel them, okay?
If anyone needs to be exorcised, I think it might be you. I think it really might be. And I'd put money on it if you saw this video, you'd respond to it because your white fragility would be showing.